So, in the spirit of fight week for Khalil Rountree versus Jamal Hill this weekend, let us revisit my thoughts on Khalil Rountree versus Jamal Hill. I originally had Khalil Rountree beating Jamal Hill via decision. I think it would be a war, a relatively close fight, but at the end of it, there will be clear evidence that, Khalil Rountree did better. And I woke up this morning trying to find something viable that counters that claim. I'm trying. I'm thinking about whether or not my original prediction is truly right. I'm asking myself again and again, am I overlooking something about Jamal Hill? Is there something Jamal Hill has up his sleeve that he's going to bring out to use to beat Khalil Rountree this weekend? So, naturally, I go to Jamal Hill's previous fights, and I look at who he is as a fighter. What are his go tos? What does he do? What is he good at? What is he added into his arsenal? Going into his next fight. How smart is he? And looking at his previous fights before he won the belt, he looks great, obviously, because that is his winning streak leading up to the belt, especially against Johnny Walker. In the fight before that, he had, a couple first round knockouts. Then he went into his fight with Thiago Santos, knocked out Thiago late. Then he fought Glover. His fight with Glover was a great fight. Some might argue a bit of a back and forth. Glover was able to get Jamal to the ground and try things out there, but Jamal obviously won, and he did so in great fashion. But some may argue it was against an old Glover, so some may want to disprove Jamal with that. Little disclaimer, I don't hate Jamal. I have posted a lot of videos criticizing Jamal. I don't hate him. I just question a lot of the stupid moves he's done, both inside and outside the cage. And I just want to bring that to you because I find it interesting that he's made a lot of thoughtless moves. But going back to what I'm talking about, again, I go through Jamal's previous fights to try to find what I'm overlooking. And then a question comes to my mind. That question is, in Jamal's last two fights, which were disaster classes by Jamal, did Jamal underperform or did he fight the way he always fights? The conclusion I reached was that he basically fights the way he always fights. More so in his fight with Yuri. In his fight with Alex knocked him out early, so it's hard to tell. But in his fight with Yuri, it seems like he fought the way he always fought. Yuri just outclassed him with really fast head movement and longer punches and kicks. I think Jamal Hill fights short. Very short for the division he's in as well. Some might disagree. That's just my opinion. When looking at his fights, it seems like he's a really short-ranged fighter. His kicks are long-ranged, but punching wise with the hands seems a bit too short. Very relies on overhands and hooks a lot rather than jabs and crosses and things he can throw from long range. And I think that added to his downfall against Yuri. So I take his performance against Yuri and I apply it to his upcoming fight against Khalil Rountree. And I originally think this morning, maybe Jamal Hill does have a great chance. Maybe he'll be able to step in there and, get into the pocket with Khalil, land some big shots on Khalil and hurt him like he did Thiago. And then I think about Khalil's Muay Thai style and how strong it is, how tight it is. The hands close to the face, keeping light on that front foot so he can, use it for kicks and stuff like that. And I think that, with that Muay Thai style, it's the defense that comes with it that I think is going to give Khalil Rountree great advantages. Because if it's a close fight on the feet that goes all 5 rounds, I think Khalil has a great chance because he's not going to get hurt like Thiago because of how tight that defense is. And if he's throwing back with aggressiveness and power right back at Jamal, he's got a great chance of even dropping Jamal. You know, um, Jamal's defense is good. I'm not saying Jamal is terrible when it comes to striking and defending strikes on the feet, but his chin is left open, a good amount of times for counter punching, and I think Khalil Rountree will be able to throw some devastating counter punches right after defending some shots from Jamal with tight Muay Thai defense. Kicks as well, quick, sharp body kicks that are thrown often in Muay Thai. I think those can really disrupt and hurt Jamal. So when thinking about all of this, I've reached the conclusion that my original take before my mental struggle this morning, my original take about Khalil Rountree winning this fight via decision, I've come to the conclusion that that take, I agree with it. Even after heavily questioning it this morning, I still think that Khalil Rountree is going to win this fight via decision. Me questioning it this morning, I believe, actually enforced it. I mean, reinforced it. Because I think Jamal Hill really just, Jamal Hill has made improvements in his previous fights leading up to the title shot he got against Glover. Because it was, and I feel like those improvements were mainly about ground game oriented, with being able to get back up after he's been taken down. But striking wise, but with this boxing, I don't see improvements. I don't. Some of you might. I don't know. With me, in my opinion, I don't see improvements. I see Jamal Hill striking the way he always has striked. Maybe he'll add a couple extra leg kicks and body kicks, and the kicking might change. But in terms of throwing, punches with his hands, I don't see much of a change. Like I said, short range, frequent overhands, frequent body shots, and frequent hooks. But long range punching, jab, cross, I don't see it, and I would like to see it, because I think those would give him a much stronger chance against the top guys in his division, especially Khalil Rountree, who's going to come in with the hands close to his face, and maybe those two hands might be far enough for Jamal to throw a jab right down the middle, but I doubt he'll do that. And that's why I think I'm going to have to stick with my choice of Khalil Rountree winning this fight via decision. I think it will be a close fight. It'll be a battle. I'm not saying Jamal Hill is not going to land any of his punches. I'm sure he will land some body shots and hooks and overhands, just not as much to hurt Khalil Rountree, especially with how tight Khalil's defense will be. And then when it comes time for Khalil to throw back, I think Khalil might even throw back twice as hard as Jamal, and twice as frequent with Khalil's aggressiveness, So, yeah. I tried to heavily question my pick, and in doing so, I ended up reinforcing my original pick of Khalil Rountree winning his fight this weekend against Jamal Hill via decision. It'll be close, not too close, but close in terms of Khalil Rountree didn't dominate Jamal, but it'll be close. It'll be close like that. It's not going to be a blowout. It's not going to be domination by Khalil Rountree. But Khalil Rountree will do enough to get to feel safe in a decision win. That's what I'll say about the performance. I think it'll be entirely on the feet. Nobody will want to bring this fight to the ground. They'll duke it out, and Khalil Rountree will just have the better significant strike percentage, and maybe even better output. But Jamal Hill might win the output. Jamal Hill might throw more punches, but I'll stand by my argument for Khalil Rountree landing more significant punches, landing more punches and kicks that connect significantly to vital spots on one's body, or on Jamal's body, rather. So yeah, bottom line here, I'm sticking with Khalil Rountree via decision. Let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn the notifications on. I love each and every one of you guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Love, knowledge.